Welcome to Filmwar. Let's cut the shit. This is a movie games podcast, so every second not spent playing movie games is a second wasted. Whoever has the most points at the end will be declared our champion. And remember, we don't say Goonies or Ferris on this show or any variations of. If you say any of those words at any point, all of your points will be deducted to zero. Happy Black Friday. Wednesday was the 60th anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy, so I thought we might do a themed episode tonight if we can keep it together. Every film we discuss tonight has some connection, however small, to the 35th president. Either he appears via archival footage, or an actor plays him, or is directly referenced. This may seem unorthodox for a movie trivia show, and it would be if it were not for tonight's prize. A sealed copy of Oliver Stone's JFK on VHS cassette that I really don't want to get rid of. So this is up for grabs tonight for you, Brent, for you, Dan, for you, Jordan, but with a catch. There are 28 points available to each one of you tonight. You must have 15 of them to be able to take this home. If you have 14 points and win, you'll be champion, but you will get no prize. You must be this tall to ride this ride. You guys look mighty spiffy tonight, except for you, Brent. What are you dressed as?
The guy who didn't do it.
This game is called Genre Feud.
This game is called Genre Feud. I'll be naming 3 films from a specific genre. It'll be up to you to choose which one had the highest of budgets and which one had the highest theatrical worldwide gross. Our first genre of films are space race films. The 3 films available to you are First Man from 2018, Hidden Figures from 2016, and The Right Stuff from 1983. Lee, Harvey, Brent, let's start with you. Which one of these films had the highest budget?
I'm going to say Hidden Figures.
Brent's saying Hidden Figures had the highest budget. Jordan, what do you say?
I'm going to go with First Man.
Jordan's saying First Man. Dan, how about you?
First Man.
Dan also saying First Man had the highest budget. And the answer is First Man. $59 million to make First Man, $25 to make Hidden Figures, and $27 to make The Right Stuff. Dan and Jordan both get a point. Now back to theatrical gross. Jordan, how about you? Which one of these films do you think had the highest intake?
I imagine The Right Stuff was actually the bigger hit, but that Hidden Figures probably made more at the box office just because of the number of years between them.
Jordan saying Hidden Figures. Dan, what do you say?
Why not roll with something that had some logic behind it? Hidden Figures.
Dan agreeing with Jordan saying Hidden Figures. Brent, do you agree with these gentlemen?
Yep.
Brent also saying Hidden Figures had the highest theatrical gross. All 3 of our contestants get a point. $236 million that movie made. First Man brought in $106 million, and The Right Stuff brought in $21 million. Brent gets his first point. Dan and Jordan both got 2. Our next genre are digital afterlife films. These are films that feature JFK in a digitally altered way, usually to add dialogue. The 3 films available to you are Watchmen from 2009, Transformers Dark of the Moon from 2011, and of course Forrest Gump from 1994. Which one had the best one, just as a general consensus, gentlemen?
Watchmen.
I've only seen Forrest Gump, and
I haven't seen the Transformers, and I really hate Zack Snyder's Watchmen, to be honest. So I'm going to go with Forrest Gump.
Shots fired, as they say. Dan, which one of these films had the highest budget?
Transformers.
Dan saying Transformers Dark of the Moon had the highest budget. Brent, what do you say?
I think I'm going to go with Watchmen.
Brent saying Watchmen had the highest budget. Jordan, how about you?
You know, this is a tricky one because, like, Forrest Gump has a lot of groundbreaking effects work and stuff in it, but it's, you know, it's $1994 versus $2000, so it kind of complicates things. I'm going to guess Transformers.
Some effect got cheaper as the years went by. Jordan saying Transformers had the higher budget, agreeing with Dan, and they both get points for it. $195 million to make that movie, $130 to make Watchmen, and $55 to make Forrest Gump. Jordan and Dan both get points.
I think the cover of that alone cost $1 million. That's just a silly amount.
Could have been. Jordan and Dan have yet to miss a point so far. Only 3 questions asked. Next, 4th question. Theatrical gross for these three films: Watchmen, Transformers, Dark of the Moon, and Forrest Gump. Brent, what do you say? Which one brought in the most money?
Forrest Gump.
Brent's saying Forrest Gump brought in the most money. Jordan, how about you?
Yeah, actually, I think it probably was Forrest Gump. I know Watchmen didn't make much, and I don't know, this is like the third or fourth Bay movie in that series, right? Like, I'm gonna go with Forrest Gump.
2 for Forrest Gump. Dan, what do you say?
Make it 3. Forrest Gump.
3 for Forrest Gump. No points. Transformers: Dark of the Moon brought in $1.1 billion. Forrest Gump only brought in $678 measly million, and Watchmen brought in $185 million. No points. Our next genre for Genre Feud are There and Then films. These are all films that feature dramatic reenactments of that tragic day in Dallas. The three films are LBJ from 2016, Jackie from 2016, and Parkland from 2013. Dan, what do you say? Which one of these films had the highest budget?
I'm going to go ahead and say LBJ.
Dan is saying LBJ had the highest budget. Brent, what do you say?
Yeah, LBJ.
Brent agrees. LBJ. Jordan?
I'm gonna go with Jackie, actually. I'm gonna go with Jackie.
Jordan saying Jackie. Brent and Dan saying LBJ, and Brent and Dan get points. LBJ took $26 million to make. Parkland took $10 million to make. Jackie only took $9 million to make, which I assume is all Natalie Portman's salary. Going to theatrical gross. Jordan, what do you say? Which one of these films brought in the most money?
Yeah, I don't know. LBJ.
Jordan saying LBJ. Brent, what do you say?
All right, Foghorn Leghorn. LBJ.
Well, I say. Brent's also saying LBJ. Dan, what do you say? Which
Make
one of
it
these
3.
films have-
LBJ.
3?
For the win.
Call me
answers.
boy.
3 answers. 3 LBJs. No points. Jackie brought in $30 million. LBJ only brought in $3 million, and Parkland brought in $1 million. I'm surprised that you guys all chose LBJ. I barely even knew that movie existed before I started making these questions.
Yeah, I mean, I was wrong with Jackie the first time, so I just didn't feel confident picking it again.
You should go forward being as confident as you want in the wrong decision, Jordan. Okay, our last genre feud are missile crisis movies. I'll say, the 3 films you must choose from. 13 Days from 2000, Matinee from 1993, and The Good Shepherd from 2006. Dan, what do you say? Which one of these films had the highest of budgets?
Just on that 2006 dollar being more valuable than the other two, I'm going to say The Good Shepherd.
Dan saying The Good Shepherd. Jordan, you agree?
Yeah, and I mean the cast in The Good Shepherd too is like pretty stacked with A-listers, so I think that's another gonna drive the budget up kind of thing. So
Jordan also saying Good Shepherd, agreeing with Dan. Brent, what do you say?
Give me Matinee.
Brent's going Matinee, but he doesn't get a point for it. Good Shepherd, $110 million to make that movie, $80 million to make 13 Days, and Matinee took $13 million. Dan and Jordan both get points. Now we're on to theatrical gross. Brent, let's start with you. Which one of these films was the most successful?
Matinee.
Brent agreeing with himself the first time. Matinee. Jordan, what do you say?
I'm gonna go with 13 Days for this one.
Jordan saying 13 Days was the most successful picture. Dan, what do you say?
Good Shepherd.
Dan sticking with his earlier decision, Good Shepherd. 3 men, 3 different decisions, and Dan gets a point. $100 million Good Shepherd brought in. 13 Days, $67 million, and Matinee brought in a measly $10 million. What a travesty. At the end of Genre Food, Dan is in the lead with 6 points. Jordan hot on his heels with 4, and Brent's only got 2 after game 1.
Did you say Genre Food?
Genre Food is the name of the game. Genre Feud.
This game is called High-Low.
Our next game is High-Low. Now it gets positively spooky. In this game, you'll each be guessing whether the average rating for a film on Letterboxd is high or low on 3.5 stars according to that website's users. Let's get right into it. The first film for High-Low is X-Men First Class from 2011. Dan, what do you say? High or lower? 3.5 stars.
I'm going to say lower.
Dan saying lower. Jordan, what about you?
I'm going to say higher.
Jordan saying higher. Brent, what do you say?
I think the options here should be Book Depository or Grassy Knoll.
That's pretty. That'd be funny. Yeah. Where were you? Where were you last
I'm gonna
night?
go Book Depository.
I don't know which one that means.
Higher.
I need a guide. Brent saying high, agreeing with Jordan, and they
one
both
from
get
up
points.
here, one from down here.
3.6 stars. Letterboxd says for X-Men
Grassy
First
Knoll.
Class. Jordan and
Book
Brent both get points.
Depository. Grassy Knoll. Book Depository.
Okay, yeah, I see what you. Okay, yeah, that would have been pretty clever. Should have done that. All right, our next film in High-Low is The Irishman. The Irishman. Dan,
Oh,
what do you
boy.
say? Do you think this film's high or low on 3.5 stars?
The Irishman. I have still never seen it because I've heard so many terrible things about it. I'm going to go low.
Dan saying lower. Jordan, what do you say?
You know, I haven't seen it. I've seen a clip of De Niro trying to beat the shit out of somebody.
Kicking some
and
dude on the street.
It is
I believe he
embarrassing.
was.
It is embarrassing. But I also thought that it had pretty good reviews, and it's Scorsese, right?
It's a Scorsese picture, so
I'm still gonna go higher, actually. Yeah.
Jordan saying high. Brent, what do you say?
I know it got made fun of for a lot of reasons, but I know it was also very highly acclaimed, so I'm going to go Book Depository.
Brett's going Book Depository just as his predecessor, Lee Harvey Oswald, would have, and it gets him a point, 3.9 stars for The Irishman on Letterboxd.com. Jordan and Brent both get points. Our next film for High-Low, The Man from UNCLE, otherwise known as Uncle.
That's the remake.
The remake. I think that did they make a film of the original one, or was it just a TV show? I think it was just a TV show. This is the original feature film named The Man from UNCLE. Brent, what do you think? High or lower?
Book Depository.
Brent saying higher. Jordan, what do you say?
I'm gonna go lower on this one. I've heard it's okay, but I'm not a big fan of the director. I'm gonna go lower.
You don't like Guy Ritchie?
No, I don't really like Guy Ritchie.
Snatch?
He is throwing darts tonight.
Yeah. Sorry.
Firing from the hip or from the Book Depository window?
Or the Grassy Knoll.
Jordan saying lower. Dan, what do you say?
What do you think, George?
Dan just moved back and to the left.
Yeah. George Harvey Oswald over here is trying to take me out. I'm going to say lower.
Dan saying
Danner.
Dan and Jordan saying lower. Brent saying higher. Dan, Jordan get points. 3.4 stars, according to the users on Letterboxd.com. We have one last film to discuss here in High-Low, and that film is Born on 4th of July, featuring the triumphant Tom Cruise. Don't y'all agree? I know there's one man on this dais that loves him, and there's one man that is on it that hates him.
You know, as much,
Dan split the difference.
Brent, Dan, what do you say? Tom Cruise, higher or lower? 3.5 stars.
I think he is gay, and I don't care. I mean,
Who would? Who would care?
let's go book.
Let it be known that has never been part of my argument.
Brent doesn't like the man because of his choices in sexual partners. All right, Dan, what do you say? Born on 4th of July, high or low?
I hate Natalie Portman.
Yeah, this isn't the 60s anymore. Or is it? I'm going to go Book Depository.
Dan saying higher. Brent, what do you say?
Yeah.
Brent agreeing with him. Jordan, what do you say?
I haven't actually seen this one, to be perfectly honest, in spite of what I said about Tom Cruise on an earlier episode, but I'm going to go higher.
Jordan also saying higher. 3 highs, and it was high. 3.7 stars according to users on Letterboxd.com. Good job, gentlemen. At the end of high-low, we have a dead tie. Dan and Jordan both have 8 points. Brent not far behind with 5. That strike your fancy?
This game is called The Imposter.
Our next game is The Imposter. For this game, I'll be naming a film and 3 actors. 2 of the named actors are actually in the state film. The 3rd actor is now, he's the imposter. It's up to you to figure out who's the imposter of each group. You'll get a point if you do. The first film for the imposter is Ruby from 1992. This is a film about Jack Ruby that released mere months after JFK. The 3 actors you must choose from to determine that imposter are David Duchovny, Frank Whaley, and Sherilyn Fenn. Brent, let's start with you. Which one of these actors was not in Ruby, a film I'm sure you haven't seen?
Frank Whaley. No,
Brent,
wait. David Duchovny.
Brent's saying David Duchovny. Jordan, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm thinking Duchovny.
Jordan agreeing. Duchovny is his answer. Dan, what do you say?
I think if you have a southern accent, you should say Sherilyn.
Sherilyn Fenn.
Yeah. I'm going to say Duchovny. I always watched him do a rundown of movies that he was in the other day on SNL during the monologue, and I can't remember Ruby as being part of it.
He didn't mention Ruby? How dare he? He was in the film. Frank Whaley was not. No points.
I could have swore he played Jack Ruby.
No, Danny Aiello plays Jack Ruby. David Duchovny plays Officer Tippett.
I thought this was about the Rancid song.
Nope, not the Rancid song. We talk movies on Filmwar, Brendan. I don't know if that's gone through to you yet. Our next film for the imposter is Malcolm X. The 3 actors for Malcolm X are Delroy Lindo, Wendell Pierce, and Jack Lemmon. Dan, what do you say? Which one of these gentlemen were not in Malcolm X? A Spike.
What do you think that second M can be used for in Lemon? What's he use that for? What's he need it for? I don't
Mischief.
know. Mischief. I'm going to say he wasn't in this movie.
Dan saying Jack Lemmon wasn't in the film. Jordan, what do you say?
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with Jack Lemmon.
Jordan and Dan both saying Jack Lemmon was not in the film. Brent, what do you say?
Wendell Pierce.
Brent is saying Wendell Pierce was not in the film. And the answer is Jack Lemmon was not in Malcolm X. Jordan and Dan both get a point.
I could have swore he played Malcolm X.
Nope. That might have been a fan film he done afterwards.
Oh, Odd Couple. That's what I'm thinking.
R.I.P. Matthew Perry. Our next film for the imposter is Nixon from 1995. Another Oliver Stone classic. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's a good one. And the 3 actors at your disposal are Laurie Metcalf, Bob Hoskins, and David Hyde Pierce. Brent, what do you say? Which one of these was not in the film?
Laurie Metcalf.
Brent saying Laurie Metcalf was not in Nixon. Jordan, what do you say?
I haven't seen this one, so let's go with Laurie Metcalf, sure.
Jordan agreeing. Laurie Metcalf is his answer. Dan, what do you say?
Anthony Hopkins plays Nixon?
Yep, he's
Wow.
fan-fucking-tastic as it.
Wow, huh? That's got to be interesting. I'm gonna say David Hyde Pierce, even though it was a flavor guy at the time.
Dan saying David Hyde Pierce. Jordan and Brent saying Laurie Metcalf, and Jordan and Brent both get a point. Laurie Metcalf was not in that picture. All right, our last film for the imposter is Bobby from 2006, a film about the assassination of Bobby Kennedy. So we got all the Kennedys represented here tonight. Your cast is...
What about Junior?
I guess we don't have all the Kennedys. Never mind. Helen Hunt, Vincent D'Onofrio, and Nick Cannon. Jordan, which one of these 3 actors was not in Bobby?
Nick Cannon?
Jordan saying Nick Cannon was not in Bobby. Dan, what do you
like
say?
A baby or something.
They were
watching Wild Out in the background.
Yeah, he's playing piano, and
In 1968.
I'm gonna have to say Nick Cannon. Just on.
Dan also saying Nick Cannon. Brent, what about you? What are you saying?
I feel like it's obvious, but that usually means it's not. But then you did the Jack Lemmon thing.
Jack Lemmon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I know Helen Hunt's in it. Oh, I guess I'll go Nick Cannon.
All three of our contestants are saying Nick Cannon, and they're all wrong. Vincent D'Onofrio was not in that film. All of our imposters tonight were in JFK, the prize for tonight's evening.
What did Nick Cannon do?
What's Nick Cannon doing in that film?
In Bobby, I believe he works for the hotel where the assassination takes place.
Oh, you're just
I haven't seen it for a long time, but
That raises a
he
flag or
doesn't
two.
do it. He's not Sirhan.
Neither was Sirhan.
This is get away from me.
He had a microchip in his brain.
At the end of the imposter, Jordan in the lead with 10 points, Dan with 9, Brent's got 6.
That's an upside down 9.
Yeah, it is. Sure is, yeah.
This game is called Meetings and Failures in Meetings.
Anybody want to quit? All right, put your hands down. This is Meetings and Failures in Meetings. I'm going to give you 2 titles that the movie was released under in foreign markets. One is real, one's fake. Each of you will tell me which one is real. I'm getting further and further away from Kevin Costner and more into Matthew McConaughey, I feel. Our first film for Meetings and Failures Meetings is Live Free or Die Hard from 2007. The 2 titles available for you to choose from are Hard to Kill 4.0 Tech War from Japan or Facing Challenges 4 from Vietnam. Dan, let's start with you. Which one of these 2 titles is right?
Facing Challenges 4.
Dan saying Facing Challenges 4 from Vietnam is the correct title. Jordan, what do you say?
I really hope it's Hard to Kill 4.0 Tech War. I want to go with that one. That's hilarious.
Jordan saying Hard to Kill 4.0 Tech War. Brent, what do you say?
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Brent saying Hard to Kill 4.0 Tech War is correct from Japan. Agreeing with Jordan. Dan says Facing Challenges 4 from Vietnam. And Dan gets a point. Facing Challenges 4 from Vietnam was the correct title.
He's facing
Challenges 4 from Vietnam. That's the whole title.
Facing Challenges 4, that's the end of the title. Now, you're just going to pick it up from there? Just going to do that? I know how you play. The next film from Meetings and Failures Meetings is Blast from the Past from 1999.
Higher.
I agree. Your titles are Cold War Boy from Russia or Catch Up with What You Can from the Czech Republic. The Czech
Is
Republic.
that how Southerners say that?
Catch up what you can. Catch up with what you can from the Czech Republic. Brent, what do you say? Which one of these films is the correct title?
Cold War Boy from Communism.
Brent saying Cold War Boy is the correct title of Blast from the Past in Russia. Jordan, what do you say?
I'm going to go with Catch Up with What You Can.
Jordan says Catch Up with What You Can from the Czech Republic is the correct answer.
Also communism.
Dan, what do you say?
Put me down for Cold War Boy.
Dan saying Cold War Boy, agreeing with Brent. And the answer is Catch Up with What You Can from the Czech Republic.
Catch up with what?
I was
you
like,
can.
maybe I bet they didn't even release that movie in Russia.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Using some logic again, Jordan. Our next film from Meetings and Failures and Meetings is a personal favorite of mine, and it's Bubba Hotep from 2002. Elvis and Kennedy versus the Mummy from Serbia, or He's Alive and Old from Sweden. Dan, which one do you think is the correct title of Bubba Hotep from 2002?
Never seen it. I've been told to watch it. It's on the list somewhere to watch. I have no
It's
clue.
on the list.
I'm going to say, well, what are you going to do?
on the
Elvis
scroll.
and Kennedy versus the Mummy.
Dan saying Elvis and Kennedy versus the Mummy is the correct title. Jordan, what do you say?
I'm going to agree. I think it's Elvis and Kennedy versus the Mummy, which would be a perfectly good title for it, to be totally honest. I mean,
Jordan saying Elvis and Kennedy versus the Mummy, agreeing with Dan. Brent, what do you say?
He's Alive and Old.
Brent's saying he's alive and old from Sweden.
That is the funnier one.
And the answer is Elvis and Kennedy versus the Mummy. Jordan and Dan both get a point. As all Southern folks say, one good turn deserves another, so our fourth meeting for Meetings and Failures Meetings is Blast from the Past from 1999 again. There are more titles to be had. The titles available to you this time are Atomic Lover from Poland and Love and the Bomb from Chile. Brent, which one do you think is the correct title of Blast
Atomic
from the Past?
Lover.
Brent's saying Atomic Lover. Jordan, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Brent. I think Atomic Lover.
Jordan also saying Atomic Lover from Poland. Dan, what do you say?
Love and the Bomb.
Dan saying Love and the Bomb. Jordan and Brent saying Atomic Lover. And Jordan and Brent both get points. Atomic Lover from Poland was the correct title.
Dr. Strangelove. Did you just steal that from Dr. Strangelove?
Love and the Bomb?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I guess I did rip that off a little bit from that Dr. Strangelove movie. I didn't. At the end of Meetings and Failures Meetings, Jordan has added to his lead. It is 13 points. Dan has 11. Brent has 7.
You know, I gotta admit, I don't even know who this Kennedy guy is.
I think he's presidential candidate RFK.
The public
Jr.
school system has failed me, I reckon.
I think you're just getting dumber being in 2 TVs.
It's
the
sucking
public-
my intelligence.
Surely they ain't getting the New York Times and that mother.
It's sucking away.
If you're losing intelligence, then the RFK Jr. campaign is going to be right up your alley, sir.
The Kennedys are still running amok.
Are you saying I should vote for Trump?
Check out that Kennedy campaign before you make a choice. That's all I'm saying. And disregard a lot of the things that might strike you as odd.
I'm going to cut all this out because even as a joke, I don't find that funny.
Have you seen Cheryl Hines out there stumping for him? I'm just going to...
Oh, God, no.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
look, if you're thinking about voting for Trump and you vote for
right.
RFK
I guess-
Jr. instead, that's totally fine with me. Like that is
Right.
better. That is better.
There we
about
go,
it?
Jordan. Thanks for bringing it back around. Yeah, vote
Yeah.
for RFK
No
Jr. and
I mean,
All right.
if it stops you from voting for Trump, then yes, do it.
I'm gonna write in Pee Wee Herman.
if everyone knows, let's not say that either because we know how things go as they snowball. This game is called The Pitch. You will each receive the title of a film. I want to hear a plot to a movie that would fit that title. You can each receive up to 3 points depending on how good your pitch is. We're going to start with Dan. Dan, the name of the film I want to hear from you is Patsy. Patsy.
Patsy is a conspiracy theory film that says that Patsy Cline was really Amelia Earhart.
You thought about this.
I'm not sure how you tie it all together, but that's the running premise
Neither do
here.
conspiracy theorists nor
Yeah,
me.
right.
Well, you know,
let's hear a thorough line. When she disappeared, and then pick
I'd
up
have
from
to
there.
first. I'd have to do some research because
Right
I
as
don't
she
know
left,
which
she
one.
asked for her guitar.
Yeah, I don't know which one
I'll
died
be needing
first,
this.
quote unquote, died first. Because my theory, I guess, at the end of it, fast forward to the end, the twist is neither of them are dead.
And
They're
then
both fully alive.
Patsy
They're
Cline
living
gets
on an
eaten by
island.
piranhas.
They're on like Tupac Island. That's where Tupac went, and Elvis, and all of them. All the celebrities go to an island, and they live forever there.
Like the Misfits toys?
Yeah, but it's nicer there. The weather's a little nicer.
Patsy Cline, RFK Jr., and Emil Earhart walk into a bar. Pick it up.
And RFK says, "Ouch."
Amelia Earhart says, I'd like to drown my sorrows.
Dan, you have anything to add? Who plays Patsy Cline / Emil Earhart?
I don't know any of these young kids.
I've heard you don't know anything about the young kids.
Let's bring out Natalie Portman. She goes out for around $9 million. I think we've established, so it's not a bad budget.
Natalie Portman as Patsy Cline / Amelia Earhart. Hey, Does she age in the picture? Does it show her as like she's younger as Amelia Earhart?
Yeah.
And then,
Oh, yeah.
Or is she like
Yeah, 'cause-
a timeless demon being?
Well, the final scene, I guess, is the establishing, and you can she's aged, but not as much as she should have when Tupac gets there. And her and Amelia Earhart and Patsy Cline are both welcoming Tupac off the boat.
Is this like the Avengers?
Oh, dude, you don't even know. That last scene opens it up for Patsy 2.
Heaven's got a band. Patsy Cline's in it twice. All right, Dan's Patsy, starring Natalie Portman. Okay.
Electric Boogaloo.
I'm going to give you 2 points for that, Dan. All right, Jordan, you're up next. The title of the film that I want to hear from you is Cover Up.
It's a corporate espionage movie about like animal testing and other scandals in the cosmetics industry.
Got a dual meaning going on there.
Yeah. And it's got like late 90s Julia Roberts in it.
Okay.
Kind of Steven Soderbergh-y, maybe.
Okay, Brockovich vein.
Yeah. No, it's got a downer ending. They don't. Whatever they're trying to uncover, somebody's car blows up or some shit. Like it doesn't.
So
the bad guys win. The corporations win. They're still putting lipstick on the animals at the end of the movie.
Okay, so the film revolves around a team from outside the corporation that's trying to bring down the cover-up?
Yeah, sure. Some kind of journalist, activist, lawyer situation.
Okay, who plays that person?
Yeah.
Let's say, you give that team a head.
Well, that could be the Julia Roberts.
Okay, yeah, Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts, okay. She got some sort of adversary she's got on the corporate side?
Yeah, there's like I guess there would be like an evil CEO.
Yeah, slick lawyer or something. Yeah, something like that.
Let's make her Sharon Stone.
Julia Roberts versus Sharon Stone over a makeup scandal, and makeup wins.
That might have been pretty close to the plot of the Halle Berry Catwoman movie, now that I'm thinking about it.
Sharon Stone does own a cosmetics company in Catwoman, does she not?
Fuck. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
That's good enough for me. Not many people saw that movie, so I guess we can steal some elements from it. All right. Jordan, I'm going to give you also 2 points, and I will say you have now reached the threshold to take JFK home tonight if you do indeed win. All right, Brent, we turn to you once again for the pitch. The name of the film that I want to hear from you is Back and to the Left. Back and to the left. Back and to the left.
Oh, I'm tempted to go with either a dance craze or time travel.
Put those hands together. Time travel and dance craze.
Let's make a sandwich.
Let's say someone travels back in time and really, really hates the Macarena. And so their plan is to upheaval the Macarena with their dance called Back and to the Left, which ironically enough they took from a Seinfeld episode.
So they didn't even know about the JFK assassination. They
actually went. They go too far back and they find out about the assassination.
Do they
so
decide? Do they choose to do anything about it?
He kidnaps Kennedy and brings him forward in time to make the dance craze.
That's crazy. I like that.
I know you're not a choreographer, Brent, but would you amuse us? Could you show us a little of what the dance may look like?
Without standing up?
Yeah, just pantomime. That's back to the left and back to the right, though.
Right, but when you go back and to the right, everyone goes, no, no, no. So that's part of it.
It's a crowd participation dance. You can't do it alone.
No, you have the dancers and you have the
It's like the
audience.
hustle. You can't do the hustle by yourself. You can't do the back to the left by yourself. Okay.
And then JFK break dances.
Who plays JFK?
It's one of those AIs.
Oh shit. Okay. Taking a job away from a working actor. I see you. All right. Is there anyone else on the dance team or a rival dance team? Maybe the rival dance team brings back LBJ and it doesn't go so well. Don't go with that.
to a Patton Oswalt. Or hey, Patton Oswalt playing Lee Harvey Oswald.
Lee Harvey Oswald, you say? Okay, I see.
So he goes and gets Lee Harvey Oswald from the past as well.
And played by Patton Oswalt.
Right.
So Kennedy is AI, but Oswald is played by Patton Oswalt.
Where I take, I also give.
Okay, I see. Dude.
And then it's kind of like bringing them together in this huge dance craze that just takes off. And the guy who made the Macarena shoots himself.
The end.
Back into the left.
Back to the left. All right, Brett's back to the left. Sure did make me laugh, so I'm going to give him the full 3 points.
Nice work.
Doesn't mean much unless he runs the table in our next game, but
I'll run a table.
At the end of the pitch, Jordan's still in the lead with 15 points. Dan, 13. Brent, 10. Moving into our last game.
This game is called Dreamcast.
Our last game for tonight is the return of Dreamcast. I have a film and 5 roles from that film. You will each take turns recasting those roles with any actor, living or dead. Our film for tonight is JFK. The 5 roles we'll be recasting are District Attorney Jim Garrison, originally played by Kevin Costner. L.H. Oswald, originally played by Gary Oldman. Clay Shaw, otherwise known as Clay Bertrand, originally played by Tommy Lee Jones. David Farah, played by Joe Pesci. And, of course, Mr. X, played by Don Sutherland. Let's start with District Attorney Jim Garrison, played by Kevin Costner. Brent, who are you casting?
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey, Brent says. Jordan, what do you say?
Let's go with Kurt Russell. He's kind of like Kevin Costner, but better.
Kurt Russell, Jordan says. Dan, what do you say?
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
Let's get a real Southern accent. That's what I'm saying.
And also someone that may be implicitly involved or has familial connections to the JFK assassination. I see.
You heard it.
All right, Brent's saying Steve Harvey, Dan saying Woody Harrelson, Jordan saying Kurt Russell. I'm going to give it to Kurt Russell. I think Kurt Russell could make a fine Jim Garrison. All right, our next role is Lee Harvey Oswald, originally played by Gary Oldman. Brent, what are you saying? Ooh, what fine actor.
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. Brent says, of course he does. Dan, what do you say?
Who's the character again?
Lee Harvey Oswald, the man himself.
Lee Harvey himself. Okay, I was the... All right. Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, Dan says.
Give
it a couple years, we may not even have to film this picture.
Got about the same head shape, too.
Jordan, what do you say? Who are you casting as the man behind the bullet?
I'm gonna go with I don't know how you say his last name exactly right. It's like David Dasmalchian or something like that.
Yeah, David Dasmalchian.
Yeah. I think he'd be good. He's good at those kind of slimy Weasley characters.
Yeah, sure is. I was gonna give it to Kevin Hart, but I gotta go with David Dasmalchian. That's a good casting. Another point for Jordan. All right, our next role that we're casting is Clay Shaw, Clay Bertrand, Tommy Lee Jones. Dan, let's start with you. Who are you casting as Clay Shaw?
B. Arthur.
B. Arthur, Dan says. Jordan, what do you say? Clay Shaw, Tommy Lee Jones. Who can fill...
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins. Brent, what do you say? Clay Shaw.
Dr. Gonzo himself, Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro.
That's who I was looking for. And nice call.
All right, for Clay Shaw, Brent saying Benicio del Toro, Dan saying B. Arthur, Jordan saying Walton Goggins. I'm going to give it to Benicio del Toro. Brent gets a point.
Not much.
All right, our next casting is David Farah and them eyebrows. Who are you putting in them eyebrows and who are you putting in that toupee? Jordan.
You know what? Al Pacino.
Al Pacino. Jordan says.
He's old enough to take the Joe Pesci parts now, I think.
Okay. Dan, what do you say?
Kathy Griffin.
Kathy Griffin. All right, Brent, what do you say? Joe Pesci's character, David Farah.
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine. Brent says Chris Pine. Dan says Kathy Griffin. Jordan says Al Pacino. I'm going to give it to Chris Pine. I'm a Chris Pine fan myself. Another point for Brent. And our last casting is Mr. X. Donald Sutherland originally played this role. Dan, who are you going to cast? He's the man on the inside with all the knowledge.
Just on looks alone. Man, I don't know. It's a tough one. Kathy Griffin. Let's take another shot at Kathy
You've already,
Griffin.
you can't use the same actor twice.
Can't use the same one twice. What about Christopher Lloyd?
Christopher Lloyd, Dan says. Doc Brown himself. Brent, what do you say?
What's the Mr. Robot? What's his name?
Rami
Raimi?
Malek?
Yeah.
Brent saying Rami Malek. And Jordan, last point of the game. Up to you.
Can I say Tommy Lee Jones?
Ooh. You can say Tommy Lee Jones. All right, Jordan say Tommy Lee Jones. Dan saying Christopher Lloyd. Brent saying Ryan Malek. I'm giving it to Christopher Lloyd. Fuck yeah, Doc Brown can play that role. Dan gets another point. All right. At the end of Dreamcast, we do have a champion, and he has hit the required threshold. Jordan is taking home the sealed JFK double set. Congratulations, Jordan. With a score of 17, Dan had 14, Brent had 12. Jordan was the only one that met the threshold. That's all for Filmwar. We have a new champion. All hail Jordan. They are taking home a VHS copy of JFK, and please put it in your will. If you ever do perish, please gift that back to me before you in your will.
Unopened.
Will do.
Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at The Filmwar, on Instagram at The Filmwar Pod, and on our subreddit at r/Filmwar. Please watch our episodes on youtube.com/@Filmwar or at thefilmwar.com. Rate us, share us, kiss us, thrill us. Our next episode will be released on December 15th. It will be our Christmas special. Then on December 29th, our season finale. Every winner we have had this season will be invited back to compete for season champion. All three of you gentlemen are eligible. Come back for winners only. We'll see you soon. Until then, any last words, gentlemen?
Do your research.
Vaccinate your kids.
We do these things not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Godspeed.
Filmwar, a 1,000-yard stare production.